Okay, we're going to start over because I just realized something.
I just realized,
Russ just realized 2 minutes into our broadcast that, basically, you all couldn't hear us. Hopefully everybody can hear us now. We're going to do a quick test just to make sure that everybody can hear us. Give us just a minute. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so, sorry. That's probably Sandra texting us and saying, I can't hear you. Oh, she said, got it. Yay. Yes. All right, so let's go back and talk about what we were talking about just a second ago. So first of all, welcome to Real Estate for Real People. I'm Kimberly Adams-Mann.
And I'm Russell Mann of Shore West Realtors and TAMThomes.com.
Yay! He got it right 2 times. He actually did it right the first time when we were muted, and he did it right again this time. So... so we had a great week in real estate. Hopefully you had a great week in real estate as well. We got a couple of great videos uploaded. He tried to record some today, but apparently me calling him and saying, hey, I have hot dinner ready for you was an offense. And so he didn't get his done.
I had to pack up and come home. It would be rude not to.
It would be. If I have dinner, hot, ready. So we had roasted Brussels sprouts, roasted zucchini, and chicken.
Yeah.
Yum. Cool. Just to make you all hungry in case you haven't had your dinner yet. Anyway, let's move on to something a little bit more real estate related. How's that? So let's talk about this week in real estate news.
What's happening this week?
So there's actually quite a few interesting things that have happened, but actually what I'm going to talk about is some trends in real estate that are happening. Not so much something specifically for this week, but it is something that's being notated this week in various things. So this one I thought was really interesting. HUD has a new housing rule, and it has an AI loophole that could be really bad for America. Now, you're like, what, huh? Okay, first of all, let's start with what is HUD? HUD is Housing and Urban Development. It is the federal government entity that oversees things like the Fair Housing Law and regulation of anything that's housing related, permits and things like that. And it's kind of like the FDA is for the Food and Drug Administration, and HUD is Housing and Urban Development. Let's start with that. Secondly, let's define the term AI, which is...
Artificial intelligence.
So that was not artificial, but it was weird. We're going for
aliens incoming.
No. Artificial intelligence, kind of like, androids is what people talk about, and not like Android phone. But anyway, so artificial intelligence, though, rules a lot of programs that we use. In fact, the program that we use in order to do this webcast has AI already built into it. It automatically understands I push this button, it's going to do all these different things. So it's kind of cool for that. However, the HUD has this rule in there because they regulate what happens with the fair housing laws. And a couple of things in regards to that we want to talk about. First of all, we were listening to one of our mentors this week, Marky Lemons-Ryle, who's just an amazing realtor out of the Chicago market. And actually, it was last week, wasn't it? It was a week ago. Mm-hmm. Her son has recently graduated from college and now has a great job and a great firm and is out looking to buy his first property. And so she was running him around. She doesn't normally work with buyers, but because it's her son, of course she's going to be there for him. And Marky, in case you're not aware of who she is a fantastic real estate speaker, but she is also African American. And she mentioned a stat that was really quite surprising to me, which was that African American home ownership has not gone up since the passing of the Fair Housing Act 50 years ago. Which I was kind of shocked about that and disappointed. She's very disappointed as well because the whole point of the Fair Housing Act was to give discriminatory groups that have been
minority groups the opportunity
to buy anywhere.
Everybody else has.
Right, exactly. To give minority groups that opportunity. And of course the idea was that if they were given the opportunity that they would take advantage of that. And unfortunately, a big disappointment to her, and of course a big as an African American strong business leader, and disappointment for us because actually that makes us really sad too. I wish there were more people. 73% of white people actually own a home, and only 40% of African Americans own a home, which is really a really big disparity. The problem with this new law from HUD, let's get back to that, is the ruling from HUD basically says this. So mortgage companies right now can do what's called, well, they can't, it's illegal, but it's called redlining. And basically what they do is they put things in place, and it discriminates subtly against minority groups. The government keeps an eye on it and watches it, and they go through and they have to review the underwriting processes of mortgage companies constantly to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And even in this area, there are 2 mortgage companies that got caught redlining a few years back, and they're having to pay their fine by giving grant money back to low-income eligible buyers. And so their fine, I think the great thing about that fine is that their fine is giving back to the community that they were redlining against. And I don't think it was every person in those companies, but it was enough that the company was fined for it. So 2 banks in this area, like them both though now, and we do use at least one of them. The other one we don't use so much anymore. But they were caught redlining, which is what the whole thing about HUD is. That's their job, is to catch that and to stop it from happening.
Just to look out for those.
The problem is, because of the fact that mortgage companies are moving towards using artificial intelligence for their underwriting processes, this means that there could be subtle discriminations in their process that they wouldn't have to take responsibility for, because they could just say, oopsie, the AI made me do it, so to speak. That's not so good. No. I mean, and the problem is, they
can't research into the AI to see what questions.
So that's what the ruling from HUD is saying, is that HUD is basically, the rule from HUD says that if you use AI, then you don't have to reveal your AI or your procedures in AI and like show them and to HUD. But if you don't use artificial intelligence algorithms and things like that, you do have to show your underwriting processes to make sure that you're not redlining. So the problem is, people are moving more and more towards AI.
Already built into the AI, then nobody would be able to find out.
Right, exactly. You wouldn't be able to prove that the bank was redlining, which is why this is a problem. And I know we've kind of talked about a lot of deep things here, but it is a new rule from HUD that basically says, if you have AI, you don't have to disclose. But if you do have AI, or if you do have AI, you don't have to disclose. But if you don't, and I think one of the reasons for that is because they want to encourage banks to use AI to try and limit, and I think their heart is in the right place, because the idea of artificial intelligence is that it will just equalize because it doesn't see color. Problem is, if you build some things into that algorithm that naturally would discriminate against people based on some sort of income that's not easy to track. There are definitely subtle codes that you could put in there that would still redline against people. So that could be a real problem. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen, and we'll definitely need to people need to contact HUD and say, look, if you still feel like even the AI discriminated against you, you need to make sure you stand up for that and say something about it. So this is not a good thing. But on to something that's a little bit happier and a little bit more positive is the idea of a 3% down conventional loans are becoming very common across the U.S. And that could really save people a lot of money. Let's talk about why that could save people a lot of money. Because traditionally, it's always been FHA.
Yeah, but if you're conventional, as soon as you get up to 20%...
Or 22, depending on how your mortgage is written.
Yeah. But at 20, you can actually apply to have PMI removed. Or it becomes automatic at 22%. Once you've reached 22% value on the property, so you've got equity in the property, then you can lose the PMI payment. Whereas with FHA, you keep PMI for the life of that loan. Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that about FHA. It's interesting because... this actually happened, my real estate career is about 7 years old, and this has happened during my career, at the beginning of my career, it was not. So was it at the beginning when you joined me 4 years ago? It was at the beginning
of mine, yeah. It was there at the beginning.
So it must have been in my first 2 years of real estate then, because he joined me 2 years afterwards. And so it's the rule now since in the last 5 years, basically.
Which is why you see some people, if they're a bit savvy, they know what's going on, they will refinance once they reach the 20% if they're on an FHA loan.
But the thing is, when you refinance, you have refinance costs, and that's not great. So, I mean, yes, you want to, but it still costs you money to refinance out of FHA into a conventional. Now, where FHA is still really helpful to people, though, is when it comes to things like, so where FHA, versus FHA, where PMI is life of the loan, but FHA may still be needed for those with a poor credit history. Okay,
because not everyone can obtain a conventional loan.
Sure, because a conventional loan requires a higher credit score.
Correct.
So it doesn't do as much as far as forgiving bad things about, from your past credit, basically. But if you've kept yourself clean for 2 to 3 years, for most people, that means as long as your debt, and FHA also has better debt to income ratios, they're higher, so you have a better chance if you have more debt. But reality is, do you really want to have that more debt? I mean, let's get that debt paid down. Let's then get your conventional mortgage in place. And Russ, since you're the buyer's agent, how is a conventional mortgage, how is it better than an FHA for other reasons, not just the money?
Because there's so many more guidelines with an FHA loan. You can't have any peeling or flaky paint around the outside of the property,
like anywhere. Even if the seller fixes that flaky and peely paint, if there's any paint chips left on the ground and the appraiser sees it,
you can't even, even if you have to scrape an area, maybe a basement window, something you never open, but if it's got peeling paint, that's got to be painted, even if it's in the deep of winter. If you want your loan to go through, you're going to have to either paint it yourself or get the seller to paint it. If the seller won't, I've had clients that the only other option, because the seller wouldn't do it,
because the
is
price
to
of the
go
property
there
was
and do
low.
it themselves.
Because when the price of the property is really low, the seller's like, I'm not putting any more money in this just because your loan requires it.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of you're the buyer, it's your problem, your loan, your type.
I've even been there helping clients on a weekend. Gone there and helped get stuff done.
So FHA has those extra requirements, some of which are a little bit arbitrary and a bit weird.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are safety, and that's good, but they do.
But the majority of it is to do with safety, and so like handrails going down into a basement and things like that, they'll make you put them on because it is a safety, a safety feature.
But it's ironic how many of those handrails come off the day after closing when people are trying to move their furniture and it doesn't fit because the handrail's in the way.
Yeah, trying to get a washing machine down the stairs with a handrail in the way. So, they soon come off. Yeah,
so oftentimes those handrails that are there prior to closing come off anyway. But and don't ever go back on. In fact, I had one property that I sold where the handrail they told me, when I said, well, for FHA buyers, which is going to be the majority of your thing, you're going to want a handrail here. They said, oh, yeah, we have it in the corner. We had to put it on when we bought the house. But they had taken it off. I'm like, oh, okay. And it was sitting in the corner of their basement for like 10 years. But they kept it, so it was great. All they had to do was go zip, 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 and put it back on. So that made it really easy. But it was kind of funny and ironic that they had to have it for theirs, taken it off when they moved in and never put it back on again. So the other advantage, though, from a buyer's perspective in our very competitive market right now, we've had a very competitive market. And I'll be honest with you, my sellers that I work with are more likely to accept an offer if it has a conventional financing, because the sellers know it has less rules and it's more likely to close, and that person has a better credit score.
Because there's a difference going after inspection, asking the seller for GFCIs or paint the window, and the seller can turn around and say, well, no, it's not important for your loan. I don't have to do that. Whereas on the other hand, if it's FHA, they have to be done.
It has to be done
for the loan to go through.
Yeah, and when I'm sitting down and talking with a seller, and we're talking about the offers that are in front of us, if one of them's FHA, I'm going to point that out to them and say, look, there are going to be extra requirements on this FHA loan that you wouldn't have on this conventional. And like the new thing we talked about with VA, same thing. VA has similar guidelines, although not as strict as FHA, although they have the new pest inspection. But we're not going to talk about that again. We talked about that a few weeks ago, almost a month ago now, actually. But it is really important to know that a conventional loan is going to give the buyer more strength in negotiation than a
than an
FHA.
Correct.
So the fact that these 3% conventional loans are becoming kind of standard across the United States.
They used to be 20%. Then you could get some at 10,
and 5.
Then 5, now 3, and it's
now 3.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, so that was a really big deal for a lot of people. So that's kind of where we are with that. So can do that. So are we ready to go on for the new on the market?
On the market.
New to the market this week. And let's start with our first category, which is 75 to 150K. Now, I think this first one that Russ found, I was like, oh, that is so cool. It's like, it's super cute.
It's really cute. It's 324 Chicago Street in Racine. It's courtesy of EXP Realty. And it's a great little property. I mean, it's 1,185 square foot, so not too small.
Above grade, too.
Yeah. And it's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath with a 1.5 car garage.
Nice.
So that's pretty
Obviously
cool.
A detached garage, but still.
Yeah. And that's on the market for $139,900.
Okay. So let's take a look at it.
Have a look at it. It's really cool.
So the funny thing is, I don't actually like these pictures where they take it like this because it makes the house look really small, the front picture.
Yeah.
But it is their front picture, so we're going to use it. What a lot of times I do with my photographer is we take a bit of an angle so you can see the length.
And there is an angled
you,
shot, which was one of the shots, but that was their front picture. So
we always use the front.
We always
use the front picture because that's
what the agent chose as their front picture. So.
Yep. So we want to honor that with that agent and make sure. So here's the inside, though. You can see how long this house is once you're inside of it. Great open plan. See all the way through the kitchen. Look at those can lights and everything. That's really cute looking.
Yeah.
Love that floor. Is it hardwood or vinyl? Do you know? Does it say? Looks like
granite
wood.
counters, stainless steel appliances.
Wow. And new wood floors. I just looked over and glanced over. It's new wood floors. So very, very pretty. Love the wood floors. In this shot, we can't see the granite countertops or anything, but that's okay. Because the next shot is...
This is the basement. So it's a finished basement. And it says 351 square foot finished below grade. But yeah, I mean, great basement. And, you know...
Can I say, honestly, I'm not sure how they came up with 351 because that looks like more than...
It looks like more than that, yeah.
What do they say that rec room is? 27 by 13. Someone want to do the math? So, let's see here. 27 by 13. Oh, well. We'll take a look at that later. Someone else want to do the math for us and let us know? We'd appreciate it. So, yeah, that's a really great little house there.
Yeah, it's a great house for under 140,000.
For 140,000, that's really good, especially since house prices keep climbing in Racine and Kenosha. They're not going down at all.
So it's a nice 3-bedroom ranch, you know.
Yeah, the one bedroom's
bedrooms, 14 by 11 for the master, and
that is
11 by 10.
That's
and
the smallest.
13 by 11.
So the smallest bedroom is 11 by 10. That's really good. That's really quite good. So that's awesome.
It's
all right.
got dining area as well. So yeah, it's cool.
All right, let's go on to the next one. 150 to 250K. Here we go.
So the next one is 5426 54th Street in Kenosha. It's on for $219,900.
And this is courtesy of Berkshire Hathaway Epic Realty.
Yes, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, one on the main and one on the lower, and it has a 2.5 car garage.
Yeah. So what's really interesting about this one, I think, is that it does have the extra bathroom. And it does have a 2.5 car garage instead of a 1.5 car garage. But actually, the square footage on this house is smaller than the first one.
Yeah. This one's only 960 with 378 finished space in the basement.
So let's take a look at some of the pictures here. Now, that's obviously a wider house. So, and thank you for letting us know, 27 by 13, it does equal 351 square feet, but I still think the way that picture looks on that other one, it looks longer than that. So there might be that they're being a little bit careful with their measurements and not wanting to overdo it. So, but there we go. That's the front picture of that one. Very nice looking kitchen. No stainless steel, but I do like the cabinetry. It's a newer cabinetry, and I love the white subway tile. That's what we'd like to do for our kitchen.
Yeah.
When we do that, so.
So it looks nice and clean. You know, it's. Great looking kitchen.
Definitely. And, see, that's like around the corner from the kitchen?
Yeah, there's that wall in between.
So it's like a half wall. That's kind of cool. Let me go back and look at that kitchen. Okay, kitchen. All right, so I'm kind of going back and forth. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see on here, because I don't think I can point
I think you can just see the microwave in the...
Yeah, the microwave and the stove there, and then if you go down here, you can see the microwave and the stove.
Microwave in
it's actually quite a generous sized kitchen.
Yeah, it's,
Very
it's
nice.
quite open there, and nice, it's only a small living room, but it's very clean. It gives me that impression of being on a beach shack or, a beach hut.
Russ likes the beach.
Yeah, I love water, if you hadn't noticed.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. You're going to see some more later. I'm giving him a hard time because he's obsessed with water. Absolutely obsessed.
I can't help it. I love fishing.
I know, but it's not just
swimming.
fishing.
Everything to do with
water, pretty much. But
it's a calming influence. I love it.
Yep, it absolutely is calming and nice. So, all right, let's move on to the next one, which is 250 to 350K.
So this one is 3312 47th Avenue in Kenosha. It's courtesy of Century 21 Innovations. And this one is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, and a 3-car garage. So this one's on at 299.9. There's a lot of 900, at the end.
Yeah, there is.
This week, yeah.
Definitely is.
Now this one's 2,500, well, just over 2,500 square foot. So
it's all above grade.
Yeah.
That is
good
great.
Size house.
Yeah, that's definitely a good size house. And sorry if the stream is not going so cleanly here, folks, but taking a look at that kitchen, I can see why you chose this one, Russ.
Yeah, this one's on 0.76 of an acre as well, and it's got a great kitchen.
Yeah, big open concept to the dining room.
I love an open plan where, if you've got guests over and you're cooking something, you can remain in contact with everyone and know what's going on in the conversation. You're not shut out in a separate room,
Yeah, absolutely.
I know the downside is you can't hide your pots and pans afterwards. You have to put them in the dishwasher straight away.
Yeah, or you could do what I do, which is put them in the dishwasher and start them up right away.
I know,
Speaking of which, is our dishwasher started? It was supposed to be started. It's very quiet. So now I was concerned. All right, so the next one. This was one of the reasons I said I wanted us to pick this one. Because if you look back at this main photo here, you can see the porch.
It's definitely got curb appeal looking at
but
that
this
property.
porch also wraps around the whole side of the house, which is what I wanted to show here. You can see that front door, but then it actually wraps all the way around the side.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And there's a big deck on the back as well of this property as well.
Oh, so really nice.
Good. Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Oh. So while he loves porches, while he loves water, and I like water too, don't get me wrong. I like water, but I love a nice porch. Sit out. I used to live in a house down in Kenosha that had a great big front porch, and I just sit out there in the summer and read a book and
so did I when I visited.
Yes, when you visited, you would as well. That was before we were married. So, so anyway, moving on.
So we're getting to a theme on this one because the next one's got a 3-car garage as well, and this is 4720 83rd Place in Kenosha.
No, it's Pleasant Prairie.
Oh yeah, so it is. It's Pleasant Prairie. This comes to us courtesy of Remax Newport Elite, and this is a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3-car garage, attached, which is really, really good.
2,500 square feet above grade and 946 below grade.
Yes, so over 3,400 square foot total. And this one is on the market at $449.
Holy cow! That kitchen is massive.
Yeah.
It's as wide as ours is long. Wow. Okay.
Let's show the good people.
Well, that's the front picture.
That's the front picture, and doesn't that look nice?
It's okay. Honestly, that's not as good. I'm looking at the sheet next to you here, and that is... Also, I'm going to talk about the rec room here in a second, but let's look at the kitchen. Oh, you didn't even have a picture of the kitchen?
I really like the sunroom
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, I do like that sunroom. That's
No,
awesome.
I didn't put a picture of the kitchen in there.
Oh, right.
But the kitchen is 23 by 12.
23 by 12 kitchen.
And the rec room is
In the basement.
Is 43 by 22. It's huge.
43 feet by 22 feet.
Yeah,
That's like our entire house on one level.
yeah. It's huge.
And that's just the rec
basement.
room in the
Yeah,
basement.
just the rec room.
Actually, our house isn't even that big on one level. 22 by 43.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way it's 43 feet long. We're probably 22 feet long.
It's huge, and
That's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of that one as well? No, you
No,
just.
I
Of
don't.
course, you've got a porch on the back. Oops, sorry, folks, I didn't show it to you.
a deck on the back. Yeah,
It's got a big
nice
deck. Great red, Shore Westy red umbrella.
Yeah,
That kind of has a nice pop of color to it. It does have a very woodsy feel too, as well. That
Yeah.
looks really nice. You definitely gotta check this out, guys. By the way, I'm using a new version of the stream for YouTube, and one of the great things about it is that I can preload the listings in there, so the links are already there this week. So you can go ahead and look at the links and look at the other pictures on these houses if you want to see the other houses. So the links are already there in the description. So that's pretty amazing. All right, let's look at the next one.
So the last one on the new list, although you've got one coming up as
Yeah,
well.
we've got a bonus one this week.
Yeah, bonus one. So this one is 3057 Michigan Boulevard in Racine. It's the comes to us courtesy of Becca Strong Real Estate Group.
Stong, not strong, stong.
That's what I said, wasn't it?
No. But that's
And
okay.
this one, folks, is 5 bedrooms, 4 and 2 half bathrooms,
Yep. 4 full bathrooms and 2 half baths.
2 car garage.
But only a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Come on. Seriously?
And it's on for
Who needs-
1.1 mil.
Who needs 5 bedrooms and only has 2 cars? That's my only issue with this house.
Yeah.
It is an amazing looking house, though. But here's the other kicker, because this is on Lake Michigan, folks, right? So, this is on Lake Michigan in the city of Racine. And here's the kicker. It's 1.1 million is what it's listed at. Mostly properties that are this price do end up usually going at a lower price than what they're listing at, because for some reason this level of market, that is very common to negotiate down.
Yeah, the killer is the taxes.
The taxes on this are $42,000 a year.
Yeah.
$42,000 a
Well,
year.
42, almost, 42 and a half, more or less. It's
42,
377
$377
and
point
53
and 53
cents.
cents. Let's not forget the 53 cents. Divided by
Taxman
12.
wouldn't.
Your escrow on this house. Let's not even talk about buying the house itself. Just the escrow for taxes alone. Obviously you're not going to escrow if you're buying this level of house, but your escrow would be $35,031 just for the taxes.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't even afford that as a payment for a house, more or less just the taxes. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Whew. $35,031.
But let's take a look at the house
Okay.
and see if it's worth it.
I
See if
suppose.
you think it's worth it.
All right, here we go.
Look at that for a house. It's gorgeous.
Russ loves ivy. This is why it made it on your list, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Look at that. That room. It looks like a ballroom, yeah? It's not. It's the master bedroom.
Yeah, that's not the living room, folks. That's
This
the master
is
bedroom.
the master bedroom.
And that big bay window sticking out there, that actually looks out over the lake.
Yeah. If you go to the next picture is actually taken from just outside. There's a deck there, which is just outside that bay window.
So you get this, so that bow window there,
Those doors open.
this door right here goes out to like a balcony, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like a balcony.
Yeah.
And
And that's the balcony.
That's the photo from the balcony. So the question is on this, where do you put your bed?
Wherever you want.
But here's the question: do you want to
It's
wake up?
huge.
Do you want to wake up in the morning and like sit up in bed and look out at the lake? Because then you'd put it right there. Or do you want to wake up in the morning and be able to see a nice fire crackling there because you've gotten up early and made a fire in the fireplace for me? Or
you would need it. I don't. I get up.
Because we would have a Keurig. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You would get up in the morning and you would start a fire in the fireplace for me. And then you'd go do your bathroom thing, whatever. Right? That is a really cool house, I have to say.
I love that ceiling in there. It's just huge.
Yeah, huge vaulted ceilings, beautiful details. Definitely a great house. At 1.1 million, it really should be. But that's just amazing. We're also going to talk about a bonus listing because this is one of my new listings. And traditionally, though, we do not do new listings of other than single-family homes. We only talk about single-family homes. And this week, we're going to talk about a bonus one because I have a two-family that I just listed. And one of the things that I always promise my sellers is that when they list a new home with me, I am going to feature it on my YouTube channel. In a number of ways, one of them being at our live like this. So the new listing that we have is a two-family though, so it's not really, it's not as traditional, not as easy to slot into a price point. First of all, let's start off with the price is $125,000 for a two-family. I'm calling it the Double Down House. For those of you that have been paying attention recently, in the last month or two, I've decided to start naming every house that I list and tying that into the description and to the talking about the house. And the reason I'm calling this a double down is because it is a two-family home. It has 3 bedrooms and 1 bath on each level. But then you can double down on your investment with a coin-op laundry in the basement. So there is coin-operated laundry facilities that are coming with this listing where the seller can not only make the money as an investment, if they live there, that's fine. They can live there and they just pull the money out of the tray and put it in to do their own laundry if they want. They're only paying themselves, so it doesn't cost them for the coin-op. But then if they have a renter there as well, they can have the renter paying laundry. But it's still convenient for the tenant. Because instead of them having to take their laundry to a laundromat, which a lot of landlords don't let people do laundry in the house because of the expense and the cost of the water. It can use a lot of water, and people don't always handle it correctly, and it's really easy to have leaky. But with a coin-op, that actually is pretty cool. So your tenants can have that coin-op laundry, so you can double down on your investment, even if you're an owner-occupant. So this is at 1645 and 1647 Flet. There are 2 different entrances, both on the front and the back for both of these properties. There is a back entrance that is a shared staircase. Now, you could also purchase this home as a 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom with an additional kitchen on the upper level because the staircase for this house is an internal staircase.
So it could be converted back to a single family if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it's not really a single family the way it's set up at the moment, but it definitely could be. You just keep the door between the kitchen and the upper unit open, and you're done.
Yeah.
Or you put a different doorway in that's off the dining room on the main level. But if you did that, then you'd have a rec room upstairs, and you'd have an additional living room upstairs as well. Because one of the great things about this house is that it not only here there's that coin-op laundry I was talking about before. So to wash costs you money. To dry, you get that for free. Awesome. But here's the bathroom on the upper level. I kind of pulled different ones from the different levels. This is actually a wood tile floor upstairs.
That looks cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's actually quite nice looking up there. There is a tenant living on the upper right now, but he is moving out. So he will not be there at the point that this closes. And there is nobody living on the lower level. But this is the living room only area of that upper. And all hardwood floors throughout as well. And this is the lower level kitchen, which has brand new vinyl planking for the kitchen floor. The tenant moved out at the end of September, and unfortunately they left kind of some damage. So what happened was they had to pull out the floor, and when they started to pull out the floor, they realized there were 3 layers underneath it that were pulling up as well. So they had to remove the whole flooring underneath there and kind of start fresh. And that is what, and it ended up with this great, really nice vinyl planking floor there. All right. So that one, did I say how much it was?
You did.
Okay, $125,000. It is over 2,500 square feet as well. So that's a big house on Flex.
Big house, yeah. So you could either buy that as a single family, you could buy it as a two family, or you could buy it as an owner-occupier and put someone in on one of the floors.
Yeah, you could live upstairs.
On one, let the other half out, and get someone else to pay the majority of your bills.
And they were renting each unit for $750 a month.
Yeah.
So if you were going to rent it out, that would be like $1,500. So that's kind of great. So anyway, moving on to our open house recap. We got to kind of move along because we're really running late today. All right, open house recap. I'll start with mine really quick. 3407 13th Street in Racine. We actually did this one a few weeks ago. I don't know why this house hasn't sold. I'm going to be honest. It's at $132,900 now. Really great price for it. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, has all new windows throughout the whole thing except for the 2 piano windows, which people like those to be original because they're like the leaded glass and stuff. It has French doors going into the living room that are also leaded glass, really beautiful. But they do lay flat on the wall, so you can keep it wide open if you want. It's got a living room, dining room, kitchen. It also has this little like coat room walk through into the kitchen entrance, which is kind of cool. You could turn it into a bit of a mud room there. And then there's 3 bedrooms on the upper. The only thing that people always say about it is that the bathroom is a little on the small side, but it is completely renovated and updated. So it's been completely renovated. So not really sure why. I mean, obviously, but it does have a jetted tub as well. It'd be a great house for a couple or a single person because, most of the time they wouldn't have to worry about just having 1 bathroom. But that little mudroom coat area as well could be turned into a half bath, which is what a lot of these classic craftsman style homes do. So $132,900. The reason I know it's a great price is I just sold one very similar to it, Cape Cod style, over on Durand Avenue. Very much going to have the same front yard, 2-car garage, etc. And that one sold for $135,000. So that's why I know this is a real bargain that's just kind of hanging out there in West Racine waiting for the right buyer. So yeah, I was kind of surprised we didn't sell it today, but man, it's a great one.
You had quite a few people.
I did have 5 groups come through, including 3 girls, one of whom used to live there. Just prior to them putting it on the market and renovating it up and putting it on the market. And she came in and she was like, wow, it looks so pretty now. Apparently, there were kids in her family, so it probably was a mess sometimes. But anyway, so she thought it was really cool. She and 2 of her friends came through. They were a little bit hesitant, but we always encourage that because you know what? She was not an irresponsible girl. She was like 11 or 12 years old, something like that. She was very polite, very nice. And I said, sure, of course, because she didn't even know what an open house was. So I got to teach her what an open house was, and I got to teach her what piano. All 3 of them didn't know what a piano window was, so I got to tell them that. So cool. Anyway, moving on to Russ's. Russ, why don't you tell us about your open house today?
So my open house was at 12325 87th Avenue in Pleasant Prairie. It's a great property. It is. It's a big, sprawling property. It's on for $429,000, and it's over 3,200 square foot. The great room in that is 23 by 12. It's huge. It's a huge great room. It's got the family room there as well. It's got 2 basements in this house. There's one basement that backs onto the 3-car garage. And actually even has a sliding door from one of the garages. So if you wanted to work on your quad bike or the small machinery, maybe you've got a ride-on mower and you wanted to work on it, you can actually wheel it into the garage, into the basement so you can stay warmer.
So that's like the unfinished portion.
Yeah. And then on the other side of the basement is reached from the other side of the house. Has bedrooms down there, even has a second kitchen down there.
So it has 2 different staircases to these?
2 separate staircases.
So it's really completely divided. So any mess on that unfinished level does not reach the finished side.
Can't go through,
Wow, very cool.
Yeah. So the only way you can reach the other level is there is a door from the finished level. There is a door into the garage. And then from the garage you can get to the other basement. But so it's pretty cool. And there's a second kitchen down there. So you could have, you know,
like a mother-in-law suite or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Or that college student
kids
that
suite.
you don't want to have them up in the main house messing up your kitchen.
Yeah, because there's a living room down there, bathrooms down there, bedroom down there.
Well, it does have 4 bedrooms and 4 full bathrooms.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
3-car attached garage. Taxes are not bad though. 53.43.
In Pleasant Prairie, they're good taxes.
That's really good. 5,300 for a $429,000 house is really good.
Yeah, I had you know, and a lot of the clients that came through the open house today, I had 7 groups come through, which was really, really good. And quite a few of them had either were looking from Illinois, moving up this way, or they live in the neighborhood but were originally from Illinois and they're looking for friends.
Right. Because there's a lot of taxes in Illinois for these properties.
There was quite a few people from Grays Lake area that were at the open house and they were looking for friends. I had 2 groups actually came from Grays Lake, that live in the neighborhood now.
Right.
But are now
it's
looking
almost an
for
acre
friends.
of land with this one
it's
as well.
0.9 of an acre. And it has a pool. It has an in-ground pool as well.
Oh, wow.
So out of the, you know, just off the kitchen, the dining area, you can walk straight out French doors onto a great big patio, and then you've got the pool area, great big yard at the back, and a lot at the front as well.
And the one thing I did forget to put into the description, which I will add later, folks, is the links to our open house houses. So if you want to see more of this one and you want some information, we'll definitely put those links in. I'm sorry I didn't put them in ahead of time. I totally forgot. I forgot we should put those in. So here we go. Tip of the week. Moving on. Tip of the week.
Remember to put the links in.
That's not the tip.
It's not the tip of the week?
That's not the tip of the week. That's not for everybody else. That's just for me.
Okay.
It's your job to remind me.
I just reminded you.
Yeah, whatever. All right. So our tip of the week this week has to do with some trends that we are seeing. So the trend that we're seeing, and there was a national news article about this. I believe it was on Forbes. I'm not sure because I looked at a whole bunch of them. But anyway, the laundry rooms are really rocking the market right now. So while we know that kitchens and bathrooms sell, the newest trend right now is for a kick-butt laundry room. Mm-hmm. People are really, really digging the laundry rooms. Some of the things they're looking for is the location. So instead of having that laundry room in the basement, they want it either on the main level or on the upper. So it's really convenient because, let's be honest, if you have a ranch-style home, your clothes are living on the main level.
Yeah.
And if you have a 2-story,
if you have a 2-story, do it upstairs if you can. If you've got the space to do it upstairs, because where do you get undressed?
You get up dressed in your bedrooms and your laundry's upstairs.
So you can check it straight in the laundry.
Yeah,
and
it is really convenient to have it up there. The other thing that people are looking for is in these kick butt laundry rooms is storage. So instead of just having a shelf in there maybe for something or just a basic counter, people are actually taking, when they do their kitchen upgrades, they're actually taking cabinetry left over from the kitchen upgrade when it comes down and sticking it into their laundry room to upgrade it. Mm-hmm. So that's even if you're just doing a kitchen upgrade, keep your cabinetry and consider whether it would be good either in your garage, because a lot of people do that too with old cabinets, put them in their garage or put them in your laundry room.
It's funny for me to see this because obviously coming from the UK, we don't really have basements. Well, very few houses have basements.
Right.
And so all our laundry is in our kitchens.
Well,
we have a washing machine, tumble dryer, unless you're putting it in a shed, but most people it's in their kitchens. And so now people are moving their laundries up into the living space because of ease. And talking of someone who does the laundry,
in a 2-story house,
having to go all the way down into the basement to do laundry, I can't wait for the day that we have a laundry on the upper level.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's not the first project though.
No,
first project is electric.
But
the next project will be laundry rooms. So then the other thing is quality. People are actually even putting in granite countertops into laundry rooms.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it happening.
I mean, if the quality of the house is at that quality, I guess that's fine. It isn't happening at our house because we'd never see that money back, and I don't really care if I have granite in my laundry room. But still putting in a brand new countertop, even if it's a laminate countertop, is a really inexpensive thing to do. I mean, we bought a piece of countertop just to use as a desk in our office. We put it on top of our file cabinet so that we could create another desk space for our old assistant. And now we've kept it as like our coffee area. But basically, I mean, that countertop, what did that cost us? $50 or something? It was really cheap.
Yeah.
It was like this nice, good size, what was it, about 4 feet across? Yeah, about 4 feet across piece of countertop. Just went to Home Depot and picked up this piece and put it across our file cabinet. It just made a really nice look for our assistant to be able to have a place to sit.
And now we have our coffee machine,
Yep. So you got our coffee machine and other items
Keurig and stuff like that is on there, and a blender and that.
Yep, just various items for people to enjoy when they come to our office are on top of it now, and our assistants on the other side of the room. But that's not the point. The point is, this was a good sized piece of countertop that only cost us $50.
Yeah.
So that's a great way. What are some of the ways? What I am actually looking at here is saying, okay, folks, so let's take a look at your laundry room. How can you add value to yours? Do you have any old cabinets that you could put up in it? Could you just go to some home store and grab a quick piece of countertop to put in there? Old cabinets,
make it look
just make it look a little bit sharper, and for a really inexpensive price. That's the thing. We're not talking about spending a ton of money on your laundry room, but look at your house, look at those additional spaces. Can you move your laundry up? Because it is very, very popular and people love it. You will get more money for your house when you have some of those upgraded amenities.
If you've got quite a large bedroom that backs onto a bathroom, especially if the closet backs onto the bathroom, a lot of people have been turning those into a laundry. You can shut the doors over it, cover it up, but then you've got the laundry already in a bedroom. You can always get a standalone closet, wardrobe to put in there for clothes, but if it's a spare bedroom, no one's using it, why not make use of that space?
Yeah, exactly. So laundries can be a really, really great selling point, and definitely a trend that we're seeing. So, we went long today, Russ. What's wrong with us? We're getting really long-winded in our old age.
Wow.
Yeah, we've gone almost an hour, almost that. So first of all, thanks so much for joining us today, folks. I see quite a few people have come in. It looks like our connection is a little bit better with this new software. Through YouTube, so we're probably going to try and keep doing that, and hopefully it continues to improve. So, anything else? Any last thing you want to share with anybody before we go?
No,
that's it.
I'm gonna go and get out of these work clothes and
get into comfy clothes.
Chill out, yes.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us this week, guys, and we'll see you next week. We do already have videos ready to go for later in the week. We'll be doing Tuesday Tour on Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe to our channel, turn on that notification bell so you get notified when new stuff comes up, and thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.